All right. What's cracking? What's up, guys? Excellent. So, welcome to the world of my live stream. This is something new. If you guys are a member of my group on Facebook, Boxing News Today, you'll know who I am. This is part one of me adding in more value for you guys. Now, I don't expect too much from this live stream considering I only have about 16,000 subs, but boxing is my passion. If you're already subscribed, I say thank you. Today we put up a video about the upcoming fight in Florida this weekend between Adrian Broner and Blair Cobbs. A lot of people are commenting on that video from our Facebook page just about, it's easy to talk trash about a fighter who talks trash, right? And I'm obviously talking about AB. But with this live stream, I want to get into a habit of doing these daily from my home studio here in Sydney, Australia. It's just another venue and another stream to help spread the sport positively. If you've been a member of the Facebook group, if you're subscribed to my channel, you'll know that I take pride in talking about boxing from a non-opinionative perspective, which isn't always the easiest thing to do, especially when the outcome of fights is always win or lose. And people who aren't really that enamored with the sport will just jump on the loser or bandwagon the winner. So with that in mind, we're going to talk about today. Today is here in Sydney, Australia. It's Wednesday, June 5th. It is 10:30 in the morning. So I have about an hour. We're going to see how long we could go. And I'm just going to fill you guys in with the top news stories so far today. I wish I had the production of a CNN, Fox News, ESPN, because I'm a boxing nerd. I'm a boxing head. I want a 24-hour news channel. I want something that I could go to that isn't a website, that isn't a clickbait YouTube streamer with big eyes screaming and wearing hats and being really kind of annoying. I want something more along the lines of an educated perspective on the sport. So today is part one of this. We'll see how many we could do. Still expect the produced videos. There's nothing new. I'm going to be producing more and more of the Stats Don't Lie series of the channel. But today we're going to start with the upcoming fight. You got Blair Cobbs versus Adrian Broner. We know that AB isn't the 21-year-old anymore. We know that he is a former four-time world champion, four-division world champion. He's 34 years old now, and time does not wait for any of us, especially in a combat sport. It is a young man's sport. So the good news for AB is his opponent's also 34. In terms of ring experience, it's not even close. AB has had the more storied career. Blair Cobbs is more of a Hollywood story. If you're unfamiliar with Blair's story, the kid was in and out of homeless shelters. In 2004, I'm surprised no one's done a documentary on this. In 2004, Blair Cobbs' family, his dad was heavily involved in the drug trade, and they had to flee the FBI and hide out in Mexico. And so this is where Cobbs found himself hiding for years, his teenage years, and he picked up the sport in Mexico. He took a lot of amateur fights down there, and then when he had the means enough to move back to the States, he did. He found himself in Las Vegas. And I'm not going to say Blair Cobbs at 34 is going to be a Hall of Famer or a world champion, but already what he's done in his career, it's pretty remarkable, pretty fascinating. And I think, the lesser fan, his story is worth researching. I touched base a little bit on it on the video I put out today, The Stats Don't Lie, talking about that. But against Broner this weekend, it's going to be Saturday here in Sydney, Friday evening in America. He's the advantages and disadvantages. Cobbs is going to be 5'11", Broner's 5'6". They're both 34 years old. Cobbs is going to be the taller guy. He's going to have the reach advantage, but from ring generalship, you can't really put a pinpoint. You can't put a price tag on that ring experience, world level, high level experience. I mean, Broner's fought the likes of Maidana, Pacquiao. He's been a world champion. It's just that how we take care of our bodies, how fighters let their bodies either inflate or deflate from fight to fight really correlates with how long their career goes. And I think as time goes on, this will be something that fighters, fight camps will get more wise upon. We're already talking about it, so we know the sport is changing, but there was a time where it was very common for a fighter to fight at 135 pounds and in between fights blow up to 175 pounds. Thinking when I was a kid how big Ricky Hatton would get in between fights. So I think this is a big problem over Broner's career, that the inactivity and him not taking care of his body. He fought last year in June against little known Bill Hutchinson, pardon me if I screwed that up. And so he didn't look amazing, but obviously money has to be a factor. This guy went from having a nickname about billions to fighting for just a couple, $100,000. I don't know what the purse is going to be, but I'm not talking trash on any fighter who's either made mistakes or trying to claw their way back. I love a redemption story. I'm going to watch the fight. If you watch the press conference today, I put it up on our Facebook group and it's on our Instagram, Boxing News Today. I put the whole press conference up there. You'll be able to see the back and forth. We saw a mean Broner. That was interesting to me. AB is always playful. He always talks a lot of trash. I mean, what after the fight against Paulie in the middle of the ring when I mean, he didn't even necessarily win that by a far margin. A lot of people claim Malignaggi won that fight, but he grabs the mic and talks about, I not only took Paulie's belt, I took his girl. That is the playful Broner that we've become accustomed to. That's the Adrian Broner that fans either love or fans either hate. Today was different. Today he was making, calling Cobbs every name in the book. He was making homosexual remarks. He was accusing him of domestic violence. He was an angry Broner, which I don't know if you want to read too much into, but it wasn't his normal bashful self. Blair the Flair, on the other hand, you could tell he's gone through so much in his life. He just handled it like a true professional. I don't think there's anybody in this world who could tell Blair something that will offend him. So, I mean, he's in the press conference with parrots. He's, has his puppet. The guy he has the nickname Flair for a reason. Once again, that storyline alone is why I'm going to tune in. I think you have to go to Don King's live stream. I'm going to go to the Instagram real quick. I don't even know how to watch. Maybe it's on Fight TV if you guys have that in America. I know we don't have it. We don't have it here in Australia. But yeah, to even stream this fight, it's let's see, got the old IG out. So you could go to Ticketmaster and live stream it. There's still tickets. There's a lot of tickets. You wouldn't expect it to be sold out. Tickets are only general admission's $80. But FITE is the streaming platform that if you want to watch that Broner fight, I'm watching it. I mean, like I said, you guys are the same ones who want to watch Jake Paul beat up a 95-year-old Mike Tyson. And on that note, did you guys hear who put their hand up to replace Iron Mike? And I put it in our group again. I don't know if you guys are into it. I don't know if I want to see it, but y'all must have forgot. Roy Jones Jr. is like, hey, mate, I spar still. I'm still in shape. He just dropped a new rap video yesterday. He recently put his hand up wanting to take Jake Paul's place to fight, or wanting to take Mike Tyson's place to fight Jake Paul, and nothing else has been released on that. Look, I'm kind of tired of this. I never was into it. I never was into the whole let's watch a mid-20s steroid guy who picks up boxing beat up on old MMA fighters and old men of the sport. It's such a weird place that we live in, and it's such an odd debate when you find Jake Paul fans and then somehow that narrative has seeped into the boxing zeitgeist regarding the same conversation. You see people on these sites talk about, oh, let Mike just grab a bag and hopefully Roy gets paid. And it's like, guys, these are 50-year-old men who fought their whole lives, who were fighting when they were 8, 9 years old against a kid who's 27, who doesn't have the damage, who's on steroids, who's younger, bigger, faster. This isn't checkers. We're not playing chess. This is a combat sport. Forget the bag. Like that's the dumbest excuse and weakest excuse to have an old fighter fight a young kid for money. Like, what are we doing? So now we're prostituting our legacies as the fighter. That was my biggest beef with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, is like, for all the great things that Tyson did in his career, for all the bad things that he did for his career is still a legacy, and his legacy was part of my childhood. So when that fight got signed, I'm like, why would Tyson, in I'm not looking for an answer here. This is rhetorical. Why would Tyson prostitute his legacy off of a fight with Jake Paul? So when I found out that that was called off, I'm fine with that. Also today, his 18th birthday. I want to say happy birthday to Carmel Moten. We featured him before on the show. He's 18 years old, and somebody commented, I thought it was pretty funny. They were like, my man turns 18 and already instantly looks like a man. Because if you look at Carmel just 6 months ago, he still looks like a boy. 18-year-old Carmel, he looks different, which is interesting. So happy 18th birthday to him. The sky's the limit with that kid. He's already had some exciting knockouts, made his pro debut just less than a year ago. And I'm just excited to see what he does with his career, how long he stays with Floyd, and how Floyd will manage it. The WBC, if you guys are unfamiliar with the sanctioning bodies, one of the narratives about Tank that I actually agree with is when Gervonta talks about not wanting to have belts. His reasoning is why would he want a belt if he has to pay the sanctioning bodies fees? So no matter if you have a WBC belt, a WBA, IBF, those belts, the fighter, it comes out of their fight purse. I've heard Bud Crawford talk about this before, Teofimo Lopez. And so when the WBC announces that they're releasing a new belt for a fight, it's fine and dandy. It's a good historical marker, but whoever wins has to pay for that belt. So they just announced that the new Juneteenth belt commemorating the holidays celebrating the emancipation of the slaves in the United States. This will be on the line for Frank Martin and Tank Davis. I like it. And all of these little news articles, if you're into, I'm also an author, so I write. If you want to join us on Instagram, Boxing News Today. We just started this site. We only have like 20 followers, but it'll grow. And then our Facebook group is Boxing News Today. If you used to box, I'm sure you had a hell of a chin. I still box, but I don't get beat up. Yeah. My whole thing as a kid when I was fighting, I was always the smallest. So my dad raised me to boxing's about hitting and not getting hit. So I'm a counter boxer. So even today at 42, when I spar, I like making my opponents come to me, finding their holes in their game, and just tapping and moving. So appreciate you, Doo-Wop Kane. Hopefully you're having a great day. So what else do we got here? Bud Crawford. Okay, here's something I wanted to talk to you guys about. We put it up in the group. He's taking on Israel Madrimov for Madrimov's 154 belt this August in LA at 154 pounds. So the biggest question for me is Bud Crawford's power. Will that power go up to 54? It's a question that we can't answer. We can only speculate. And when I was talking to you guys on Facebook about this, my whole reasoning was we have no reason to. I saw Liam Peril was live, so I had to tune in. Dude, you're my favorite comedian, dude, Addy Meddy. But my favorite, the best way to reference will Bud's power carry is you just look at his career, right? Now, if he wasn't knocking guys at 35 out, which he was, if he wasn't knocking guys at 40 out, which he was, if he wasn't knocking guys at 47 out, which he was, I would then say and be cautious about, well, maybe Bud's power won't carry. But 31 out of his 40 wins are all by knockouts. I think he's finished 9 or 10 fights in a row. We can pull up his box rec. The thing about it isn't necessarily when we're talking about will Bud's power carry, it's will his opponent, will Madrimov be affected by that power? Because it always takes two to tango. It's not just will one fighter's power carry, it's will his opponent be able to take the power? Like, for instance, Deontay Wilder versus Big Bang Zhang. Wilder landed some shots on Zhang. That fight was hardly a shootout. That fight was hardly a technical display of the highest form of the sweet science. It was two older heavyweights who didn't move a lot. And Wilder landed some of the same shots he landed on Fury, dropped Fury a few times. Same shots he landed on Ortiz, knocked Ortiz out with that one punch. He landed those shots on Zhang. But the thing about Zhang is he's a bit bigger than both those guys, and he can just take a shot. So it's not always the case of one guy's power carrying over to another weight class. It's who is his opponent on that night? How much damage does his opponent have? And will he be able to bite down on the mouthpiece and take it? And that's the biggest thing with Madrimov. Now, I'm not a Terrence Crawford fanboy. I'm not a fanboy of any fighters. I admire how Crawford goes about his work. I like the way he does his business, but I'm not going to say that he's walking through Madrimov. I mean, people could kind of get frustrated with Madrimov's lack of fights on the pro level, 10-0. I think he has one draw, so 11 fights. But that doesn't really come relevance to will he put up a good fight against Bud. We know about the storied Russian amateur scene, and I'm really interested in this fight. My problem with the fight card now is you lose the Wilder Jared Anderson potential fight, because obviously that fight's not going to go down, and you lose the Tim Tszyu Virgil Ortiz fight. So I was going to book tickets, fly from Sydney to LA to go see that card in August, but now it's like I've been waiting for Turki Al-Sheikh to put another fight on. Will Virgil still be on the card? Will he just be taken off? Is Jared Anderson going to be on the card? So that's another thing. I don't know if Madrimov versus Bud is enough for me to get to LA. Probably not, but we'll see. Water was doing ballet instead of boxing. I forget, if we don't spar, we can get you. Oh, come on. You guys missed that point, man. The whole sparring thing is, I like boxing trolls. It's when you're trolling a guy who's like, I don't like bullies, I guess. I guess that's what it comes down to, Addy. I don't like people. I used to get bullied as a young boy. I don't like bullies who pile on. So when I say boxing troll, I don't mean critic. I don't mean somebody who isn't a fan of this guy but is a fan of this guy. I mean somebody who is like a keyboard warrior. So I guess thanks for holding me accountable, Addy. I should have. It's not necessarily the boxing troll or the boxing critic that I struggle with. It's the keyboard warrior who sits behind the screen, who talks trash about a pro athlete, a pro fighter, that they could beat them up or do better than them. That's what I was talking about. And you don't have to spar to be a critic in boxing. I need to clarify that. What else do we got? Yeah, come on. Appreciate you too. Before I let you out of here, I got to go for a run soon. We got Bud. We talked about Virgil. We're going to be doing these daily. So 17 minutes in, we'll see if we can continue these. And there's always something to talk about. I'm going to be doing these around the same time every day, filling you guys in with the verbose, the auditory version of my typing and my posts. I appreciate the support. Addy, I appreciate you, and keep it up. And stay tuned, join, subscribe, share. Talk to you guys soon. Boom, get after it.